Okay. Dang it, don't tell me my phone. Is my phone really dead right now? Okay, we're good. My bad, guys. It might be a little laggy. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's good. So we are live on the YouTube. There we go. How's everybody doing? Hey, we're streaming on. You're lagging a little bit? Okay. Let's check this out. How's it sounds, everybody? Is it good?
In 1803, Meriwether Lewis was 42 days from meeting William Clark. He was rowing a keelboat down the Ohio River toward Pittsburgh, still outfitting the expedition that would take 2 years and eventually carry him to the Pacific Ocean. On September 10th, he landed on the east bank of the river and walked 700 paces inland to look at something that he'd been told about. He measured it. He walked around it. He wrote about it that evening in the journal he kept with meticulous regularity. He described it as a remarkable artificial mound of earth, a nearly perfect cone, he wrote, 310 yards in circumference at its base, 65 feet high, terminating in a blunt point 30 feet in diameter at the top. He noted a white oak growing from the summit. Near the summit of this mound grows a white oak tree whose girth is 13.5 feet. He calculated its age at around 300 years, 3 centuries of growth from a root system planted directly on top of whatever was buried inside. Lewis didn't know who built it. Nobody he spoke to knew either. The local Native Americans, when asked, had nothing. No oral tradition, no collective memory of its construction or purpose. A man who had grown up within sight of this mound had nothing to tell him about it. What Lewis wrote next is rarely quoted. He noted that Americans in the area had already been inside it. They had already removed bones and artifacts before any record was made, before anyone with authority or training had seen the interior. Whatever had been in the upper levels of the mound, whatever the people who built it had placed nearest the surface, was already gone. The mound Lewis was looking at is called Grave Creek Mound. It sits in what is now Moundsville, West Virginia, 12 miles south of Wheeling on the Ohio River.
I'm doing
It
well.
is
How
the
are you?
largest conical burial mound in the Western Hemisphere. What you need to understand first is what was there before American settlement. The flat-bottom land along Grave Creek, the Adena called it home, and they built something here that has no equivalent anywhere north of Mexico. The Grave Creek Mound was the centerpiece of a ceremonial complex that included as many as 47 additional earthen mounds spread across the valley floor, earthwork enclosures, and stone cairns averaging 4 feet in diameter that crowned the surrounding hills, variously interpreted as lookouts, sacred markers, or cairns for the dead. A graded ceremonial road, similar to the Sacred Way at the Marietta earthworks I covered a few months ago, ran from the base of the Great Mound directly to the Ohio River. 2 large earthwork enclosures described as forts stood on either side of the complex in 1785, when European settlers first documented them. Today, none of that survives except the mound. Every other structure, all 47 mounds, the earthworks,
Okay.
the stone cairns on the hills, the road, was levelled, ploughed over, and built on by the city that grew up around the one thing too large to easily destroy. Moundsville took its
After
name
my
from these
stove,
mounds,
I'll
and then it
talk
paved
some more
them.
for you guys.
The mound that survived is formidable enough on its own. It was originally 69 feet tall, base diameter 295 feet. The builders moved more than 57,000 tons.
So I did come across some information. So the Nazca lines in South America are actually lining up and matching some of the Adena and Hopewell lines. So they got boxes, squares, and circles, and they'll have like a circle with a square right next to it, or put the circle inside the square. They think that the two are connected from down in Peru, the Nazca lines, and the Adena Hopewell culture, and that would be ancestors of Seneca too. So pretty interesting, and I think so too because we don't come from the north; we come from the south. We got our corn from the south. Our creation story matches the Mayan creation story, and if you ask me, if you're to look at my tribe, we look more South American than we do Asian.
Tons of earth to construct it. Roughly 3 million basket loads, everyone carried by human hands because the Adena had no wheels, no draft animals, and no metal tools. They built a moat around the base as they went, 910 feet around, 40 feet wide, 4 to 5 feet deep, with a single earthen causeway crossing it. The moat was a ritual boundary, near Cape, an enclosure separating the sacred from the profane. Radiocarbon dating places the completion of the moat at around 200 BC.
You know what I'm thinking too? I'm thinking so that X haplogroup that they keep finding around the Great Lakes with these wheels and these tablets with these weird language, and then even down in Peru, they're having finding mummies, 8,000-year-old mummies with uh Middle Eastern DNA and European DNA, right? 30 to 40%. So obviously that had to be like a grandma or a great grandma, right? Had to be one of the grandparents that was fucking that down there. So what that means is those bloodlines mixed into native bloodlines, and that's kind of like why why they would compare some of our features to Europeans. They say Roman nose. Who who knows what a Roman nose is? It's kind of what I got, you know? So you hear stuff like that. They even talk about natives with beards too. Yeah, yo. Natives with beards, yo, that's crazy. That is crazy because natives don't really grow beards. And if you looked it up, natives that lost my train of thought.
The entire complex, mound and moat together, was built in stages over approximately 100 years, from about
Still recovering
250 to
from 420 yesterday.
150 BC.
Ate a nice
By
ass
the
cookie,
time
yo.
Meriwether Lewis
Went to
measured
bed
in
early
September
yesterday.
1803, the moat had already silted in. By 1838, it would be gone completely, buried under the excavated soil from the tunnels that tore the mound open. In 1823, 15 years before anyone officially went inside, a Tennessee judge named John Haywood published a book called The Natural and Aboriginal History of Tennessee.
There's that Aboriginal
It
title
was an
again.
early attempt at a systematic prehistory of the American interior.
See? The burial, the natural and Aboriginal. Hey, so was there two? The naturals and the Aboriginals? Pretendian's gonna eat that up, yo. They're gonna eat that up. Yo, how come nobody's saying anything on YouTube? Are you guys good over there or what? And Facebook. Are you guys good over there or what? Usually there's comments on YouTube and Facebook. Yo, check these out. So you say you're Olmec, right? We'll explain that. You say you're Olmec, right? The subjects, we learned that they belong to A, one of the most abundant among founding and indigenous populations. That's the A haplogroup. If they had been Africans, the haplogroup would be L, which is characteristic of these populations, he highlighted. Furthermore, Cyphers noted that they were African genetic material in the Olmecs. It would not only be in burials, but in later populations, since haplogroup L, which was not found here, would have been preserved. The pioneering study of DNA carried out on Olmec individuals, one from San Lorenzo and another from Loma de Zapote. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Or whatever, sorry. Resulted in both cases the unequivocal presence of distinctive mutations of the maternal lineage A. That is the origin of the Olmecas. It is not in African, but in America. Because they share the most abundant of 5 mitochondrial haplogroups characteristics of indigenous populations of our continent. A, B, C, D, and X. You know what's cool? We got the first 4 letters of of life comes from a woman, right? And these are our maternal haplogroups. A, B, C, D. The first 4 letters of the alphabet. I think it's because we're the oldest and they're keeping it from us. They don't want to tell us. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know you got fucking superpowers and you're like X-Men and you get charged up by the sun. And we lost all our fucking powers because we've been colonized. We've been assimilated. You don't know what you're supposed to do when you're hitting puberty and you're supposed to go have a vision and go find your fucking spirit animal and all types of shit. Yo, we lost all that. We lost all that. People aren't connected to the land how they're supposed to be. Yeah, you got that spiritual connection and your blood connection, but we lost our ways, yo. We live like colonizers. I just watched a video of a Lakota elder saying that his great grandpa sat there and he pointed at him and said, "Hey, all these kids right here, they're gonna be Hanyo'os," but in his language he said Wasichus. That's Lakota for a white person. For us, we say Hanyo'o. So Wasichu, Hanyo'o, same person. But he said that they're going to turn into Hanyo'os. And the guy said, "Hey, Grandpa, how can I turn into a Hanyo'o? My skin. How do I can't do that." And he's going to say, "No, you're going to live like them. Like, you're going to speak their language. You're not going to live like Ungwe people. You're not gonna live like Indians no more. Indigenous people. I was told that we live on the back of a turtle. That's Turtle Island, yeah. Pangea. One island, one landmass. It was just water and sky at one point, bro. And then turtle came out the water. The first land out of the water, Turtle Island, Mother Earth. Right? Hold on, let's see. I don't know, I got caps lock on, but yeah, yo, look at this. Come on, yo. You see that? Come on, yo. How did they know that? How did they know that? And you know what else? I think we had capabilities of flight over here. How the fuck did we know that? And then with all the Nazca lines and geoglyphs and mounds, that stuff can only be seen from an aerial view. That stuff can only be seen of an aerial view. Our people were fucking smart. We're mathematics. We invented the concept of zero. Yo, they had calendars, mapping the return of the ancestors, the sky people, or the star people. Depends on what tribe you come from. You might call them sky people. That's what I call them. Some people say star people. Look at South America upside down. Abya Yala. You're just listening. Fix my hair. Let's get back to this video though.
And it contained a passage about the Grave Creek Mound. Near Wheeling in Virginia, on Grave Creek, on the lands of Mr. Tomlins, is one mound of a conical form, 75 feet high, Haywood wrote. In the interior of this mound,
and I think
human bones.
I think a lot of these mounds are pyramids. Like Cahokia, the biggest one there, they started digging at it and they found brick, yo. So you got brick laying Native Americans, yo, in ancient times. I'm not even kidding, yo. Brick laying Native Americans from ancient times. See, this happens every fucking day, yo. Can reincarnate and be possible a new body, like a different race, a different gender, different animal? Yeah, I mean, some people believe that you're fucking awesome in this life. You'll come back as a fucking eagle or something awesome. You're fucked up in this life. You'll come back as a fucking worm or maggot, you know, or reincarnation. The Hindus were onto something too. Or the egg theory. You're gonna live my life. I'm gonna live your life. You're gonna live everybody's gonna take turns living each other's life. We're all living each other's life at the same time, you know, because we're all the same thing. That's called the egg theory. I'm not really big on theories. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? I don't put all my eggs in one basket. So what happens if you drop your basket? Cracked all your eggs and you got no more eggs, yo. There you go.
Were found.
But that's your Turtle Island map. Never seen this. The fuck does that say? Our ancestors used to call North American continent Turtle Island. And is it because it's the shape of a turtle? And how did they know? Yeah? See what I mean? You see what I mean? Look, this person obviously doesn't know their history. They didn't include Greenland. Greenland, those are our people too, guys. Just so you know. Those are our people too, guys. Greenlanders, yes. Those are indigenous people. Just so you guys know. There are people as well up there. So whoever made this, shame on you. That's a little racist, yo. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be racist to our northern Eskimo relatives, yo. Inuit. I don't have I'm not Inuit, and you know what? I think real Inuits don't have a problem with the word Eskimo. They don't. Maybe one that's not connected to their culture wouldn't, because people say, "Oh, Indian's offensive." How is it offensive when my tribe is Seneca Nation of Indians or Cattaraugus Indian Territory, right? Or you got the Thomas Indian School, right? that's what I'm saying, It's like, or American Indian on your birth certificate, or you vote or whatever. How is Indian offensive? Maybe if you said Indian N-word, or prairie N-word, or savage N-word, or red N-word, that's offensive. But Indian is not offensive. Not to me, at least.
Of uncommonly large size. Human bones, already found, already.
Okay, yeah, in Ohio, near Wheeling, Virginia, and Grave Creek on the lands of Mr. Tomlins is one mound of a comical form. 75 feet high. In the interior of this mound, human bones were found of uncommonly large size. The mounds are 1.5 miles from Ohio. That's the correct way to pronounce Ohio. Ohio, that's not right. That's the colonized way to say it. It's Ohio. That's Seneca, actually. Ohio is Seneca territory.
Documented in 1823.
Oh, wait. Here also were found, mixed with bones, 2 or 3 plates of brass. So not only do you got brick laying Native Americans, you got copper and armor wearing Native Americans. So over here in the Northeast, they found some giant remains with copper armor. They had a copper chest plate, like a fucking sheet of copper on it. And allegedly there is Hebrew inscribed on it. You notice how whenever they find something cool, white people try to put their stamp on it and say, "Oh, it's got ancient lettering on it, Hebrew." And I guarantee you it was not Hebrew, because half of the stuff that they think is Hebrew, it's not even that. It's Sanskrit. Who knows what Sanskrit is? Sanskrit is ancient Hindu. That's what it is. They're confusing Hebrew with Sanskrit. Check out the monkey temples in Central America and look up Hanuman.
The first official excavation didn't happen until 1838. Someone had been inside before Hayward wrote that sentence. There is no surviving record of who or when or what they took, or who they told. The only evidence it happened at all is that Hayward, a respected Tennessee judge, not a fringe writer, recorded it as established fact in a published book. The passage ends there. He moves on to other sites. A separate early account, preserved by the antiquarian Delph Nerona, quotes another observer who stated the mound had been so far opened as to ascertain that it contains many thousands of human skeletons, some of them of uncommon large size.
Now that looks like a turtle mound right there. So I grew up dancing on a turtle mound. Haudenosaunee people do. We put on a show that we put on for over 100 years at the state fair on this. There's a turtle mound there. And you know what? They changed it, yo. They changed it and ruined it. It's not there no more. They try to tell the world that even aliens created our pyramids, and there isn't. Oh wait, no. They say that about the ones in Egypt, but not the ones over here, yo. The ones over here, they know who built those ones, bro. They don't question that. Everybody does. That's why the red man is the hardest working man on the planet. The red man is the builder. Just so you guys know, we had builder gods over here. Just so you guys know, the red man is the builder. The worker, the red man is. He's the hardest worker out there. He's the one out in the fields right now. Native Americans have built more buildings and skyscrapers than black people have. Black people stopped working after slavery. And all the buildings from those times are taken down. They're all old and fell down and built over by Native Americans. Native Americans built all the cities in the Northeast. Twin Towers, Empire State Building, all types of buildings. Brooklyn Bridge. Look up Skywalkers. Skywalkers, they fly this flag a lot. Or the Warrior Society flag too, Mohawks. Onondagas. My dad was Onondaga. He built the skyline here in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. That's what we do. We're builders. Builders of the long house. Long houses back then and long houses today. The long houses are skyscrapers. Our long houses were 2-3 stories tall, a quarter mile long. And we had cities, gated communities. I'm muted. On YouTube, it doesn't say I'm muted. The money we use, always a white man's face, not a non-European person. They used to put our people on the money. You know that, right? Look at this. They used to put our people on the money. This used to be a penny. This is an oversized penny. Real copper, pure copper. This used to be a dime, I think, or a golden, whatever. Forgot what this one was. Maybe a nickel, but this was the Buffalo Head nickel, and this was a Seneca that they put on it. There's real copper right here. This was 3 Indians: a Seneca, a Lakota, and a Cheyenne. Iron Tail, Two Moons, and Big Tree. All chiefs. The reason why they can use an Indian from the East Coast, South or North Midwest, and Plains is because we all kind of look the same. We all got same phenotype somewhat. You know, we're copper toned, Asiatic eye, somewhat brown eye, brunette to black hair, straight. You know, straight to wavy, never curly though. Straight to wavy, never curly. That's what Indian hair looks like. Straight to wavy, never curly. You can have real wavy hair, but curly is like kinky. We don't have kinky hair as Native Americans. There's people that mixed in that have that kind of hair. Yeah, there's Native Americans with that hair now, but that's not what the original Native American looked like. That's what's going on. People are trying to rewrite what the original Native American looked like, and everybody knows.
That's not a claim about one excavation. That's a description of a mound that had already been partially opened, had already yielded human remains, and had already been closed again, with the bones left inside.
Have I ever been to Canada? Yes, I have. I can't go no more, though. I got in too much trouble over here in the States, so I can't go. I gotta go get my status card, though, up there, so I can just cross anytime I want. Because here in Western New York at the border, they don't like Senecas, actually. They don't like us at all.
the
They give
time
us a
the
hard time.
official
They give me a hard
excavation of
time. They don't let me
1838
cross.
began, the mound had already been breached at least once. Whatever had been found was not on record. Whatever had been taken was gone. The man who opened it in 1838 was not an archaeologist. He was a physician. Dr. James W. Clemens was a prominent wheeling doctor, a city councilman, and by 1830...
Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Because they were saying that I was muted, and then they're saying I keep glitching. So, which is it?
A man who had convinced himself he was standing on a fortune. He borrowed $2,600, what equals the equivalent of roughly $80,000 today, and organized the excavation. He wasn't hiding his motivations. He wrote an article in the Marshall County Sentinel seeking additional investors. He promised readers the mound would yield treasures buried across centuries. He predicted it would become a global tourist attraction that would put Moundsville on the world map. He told potential investors the excavation would be so significant that it would convince the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad to route its line through Wheeling. The man who stood to profit most from spectacular findings would be the primary person documenting what was found. On March 19, 1838, Abelard Tomlinson, whose grandfather had first discovered the mound while hunting in 1770, and his brother-in-law, Thomas Biggs, began digging. They started a horizontal tunnel 4 feet up the north face of the mound. The excavated soil from the tunnel was carted out and dumped into the moat, permanently filling it. The 1975-76 scientific excavation of the site confirmed the moat's existence and confirmed that it was deliberately destroyed in 1838 by the act of tunneling. The sacred boundary encircling the mound for 2,000 years was gone inside a few weeks of amateur archaeology. At 111 feet into the mound, the tunnel reached something solid. A vault, rectangular, 8 feet by 12 feet, dug 7 to 8 feet into the natural ground surface before the mound was built, meaning the tomb predated even the first layer of earthen construction. The walls were lined with upright timbers. The ceiling had been timber framed and then covered with river cobblestones.
It's because I'm live on
the ceiling had collapsed
Facebook,
inward. The earth of
YouTube,
the mound had fallen and everything
TikTok
had
all at
compressed
once.
into
That's
the
why
vault
it's
over
glitching.
2,000 years. But the vault itself was intact. When Tomlinson
No, I
and Biggs
haven't
broke
been there
through the
yet.
side wall, they said it was as dry inside as any tight room. 2 skeletons. One had been buried with 650 shell beads arranged in a pattern around the body, along with a gorget, a carved ornamental piece, 6 inches long. The second skeleton had no grave goods. A witness named Thomas Townsend, who was present at the excavation and wrote a detailed account that appeared in the Cincinnati Chronicle the following year,
Facebook,
described the
TikTok
jaw of the beaded skeleton as large and strong. The second skeleton, measured at 5 feet 9 inches, was smaller and more delicately built. When Tomlinson later expanded the lower chamber to convert it into a museum, the construction work uncovered 10 more skeletons. All 10 were in sitting posture, arranged around the central burial. They had been placed deliberately, facing inward. This detail appears in almost none of the published accounts from the period. It was documented by the excavators, recorded in the notes, and then largely dropped from the public record. 10 people had been interred in seated formation around whoever lay in the center of that vault. A burial arrangement that implies ritual significance that nobody in 1838 was equipped to interpret or incentivized to report. Months later, after the lower chamber, Tomlinson opened a vertical shaft from the summit of the mound downward. It intersected with a second burial chamber on June 9th, 1838.
I don't know if this is fake, but look at that, yo. That's inside of it, the mound. I don't know if that's a real picture, but what? You see what I mean? Brick laying Native Americans. Brick laying Native Americans is what I'm talking about.
The upper vault held one skeleton, described by Dr. Clemens as a large skeleton, in a state of extreme decay. With it, 1,700 ivory beads, 500 seashells, 5 copper bracelets, 150 pieces of mica. And the stone. It was small enough to sit in the palm of your hand, a flat disc of sandstone, roughly.
Yeah, you see that? Look at that language right there, yo. They try to say that's fucking like Hebrew and shit, yo. No, that's Native American right there, yo. Whether you like it or not, Native Americans been using language like that. They look like star constellations, to be honest. The San tribe look Asian. They're the oldest tribe in Africa. Yeah, they're the ancestors to the black people. So black people come from Asians. And Asians come from us. That's interesting, yo.
2 inches wide and 1.5 inches tall. One side was blank. The other side had 25 characters inscribed in 3 rows. Nobody knew what they were. Abelard Tomlinson said he removed it with his own hands from near the skeleton in the upper vault. A worker named Peter Catlett said he found it in a wheelbarrow of loose dirt being hauled out. Colonel Wharton, who was present, backed Catlett's version. The accounts conflict on the most basic question, where the stone actually came from, and they conflicted immediately, while the people who were there were...
Okay, so here's another inscription of it. What do you guys get out of it? What do you guys think? Hey, coolies, I don't know anything about the Dominican Republic. I've never been there, nor do I have, like, anybody close to me that's from there, so... Might have to ask someone else there. I don't know if they have an identity crisis down there. I love the questions, though. It's what a live stream is supposed to be like. Ask questions. No, you're good. Ooh. It's the...
Yeah, I know.
still alive and could be asked. The stone didn't attract much attention at first. It sat among the display artifacts in the museum Tomlinson built inside the mound, unprotected, mixed in with broken pottery and other small objects. Nobody gave it particular significance. And then Henry Rose Schoolcraft examined it. Schoolcraft was the most respected...
On TikTok, it looks like it's struggling to keep up.
ethnologist in America. He would later be appointed U.S. Indian agent for the Northern Frontier, producing a 6-volume encyclopedia of Native American peoples that remains a foundational reference. In 1843, 5 years after the stone was discovered, he visited the museum inside the mound and found the Grave Creek stone lying unprotected among the artifacts. He picked it up. He sent copies of the inscription to scholars across Europe. What came back ended his certainty about everything he thought he knew about the American interior. The Royal Society of Northern Antiquaries in Copenhagen examined the inscription. Scholars in Paris examined it. An expert in ancient Iberian languages examined it. A runic specialist examined it. Each of them looked at the same 25 characters and identified something different. When Schoolcraft compiled the responses, he found the inscription contained, according to his correspondence, 4 characters corresponding to ancient Greek, 4 Etruscan, 5 runic, 6 ancient Gallic, 7 Old Erse, 10 Phoenician, 14 Old British, 16 Celtiberic, with some resemblance to Hebrew.
You see what I mean, yo? Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? We're gonna make a recording real quick. We gotta clip that. That's what I'm talking about, though, guys. This is what I'm talking about. So let me go back. So you can find every culture in the Americas. Check this out.
4 characters corresponding to Ailes in Paris examined it. An expert in ancient Iberian languages examined it. A runic specialist examined it. Each of them looked at the same 25 characters and identified something different. When Schoolcraft compiled the responses, he found the inscription contained, according to his correspondence, 4 characters corresponding to ancient Greek, 4 Etruscan, 5 runic, 6 ancient Gallic, 7 Old Erse, 10 Phoenician, 14 Old British, 16 Celtiberic, with some resemblance to Hebrew. Almost every major ancient alphabet was represented in 25 characters.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. You can find every culture here in the Americas. And this is just one stone out of thousands of stones. God damn it. Of course, she goes to fuck it up. This is why I'm getting rid of you. This is why we're getting rid of you, kitty.
Schoolcraft's conclusion, published in the Transactions of the American Ethnological Society in 1845, was that the inscription was primarily Celtiberic, the written language of ancient Spain and Portugal before Roman conquest. His interpretation, someone from the ancient Iberian world had reached the Ohio River Valley. This small piece of sandstone, found 2,000 feet inside a burial mound built centuries before Columbus, had been left there by a person who could read and write in a language from across the Atlantic. The debate this ignited lasted the rest of the century. The stone became one of the most studied artifacts in American archaeology. Every scholar who examined it came away with a different verdict: Phoenician, Libyan, Celtic, a forgery, a legitimate inscription, a deliberate fraud. The disagreement wasn't about...
So what do you guys think? What do you think it says? Well, I guess it's all fucked up on TikTok, huh? The signal.
fringe ideas. It was between the leading scholars of the era working from genuine examination of the artifact. Then the institutional machinery turned against it. By the 1870s, American archaeology was becoming professionalized. The amateur era of mound excavations was giving way to government-sponsored surveys. The Smithsonian Institution's Bureau of American Ethnology was being built into the authority on North American prehistory. And the institution had decided what the narrative of North American prehistory was going to be. Wills de Haas was a nationally respected antiquarian who had spent decades studying the mounds of the Ohio Valley. He believed the Grave Creek stone was authentic. He was appointed to lead the Smithsonian Bureau of Ethnology's mound survey.
There's the Smithsonian again, and they had this mound survey thing where they stole all the bones, right? They stole all the bones and smashed them because they're pushing a certain narrative. They can't have people knowing that life began here, because then everybody in the planet is going to want to move here. They're trying to keep it their little secret.
Project, the largest systematic investigation of American mounds ever organized. He was removed from that position. His replacement was Cyrus Thomas.
And Cyrus Thomas is that one that made the picture of the map with all the mounds on it, all those little orange dots. That's his map that he came up with.
The historical record is specific about Thomas's position. He took a very strong, almost sarcastic stance toward the Grave Creek stone and Schoolcraft's support of it. The institutional record is also specific about the cause of de Haas's removal. It is widely agreed that de Haas was demoted from his job as head of the Smithsonian Bureau of Ethnology's Mound Survey Project because of his well-known support of the authenticity of the stone. De Haas didn't lose his job for being incompetent. He didn't lose it for bad fieldwork. He lost it because his conclusion about a specific artifact conflicted with the institutional direction. The man who replaced him proceeded to dismiss the stone definitively, and the case was closed within the official record. But the stone itself still existed. It was real. It was physical. It could be examined. And then it disappeared. The Smithsonian made 4 plaster casts and a wax impression of the Grave Creek stone. Those casts still exist at the National Museum of Natural History. The original stone does not. The last confirmed physical location was in the private collection of E.H. Davis in the late 1870s. Davis's collection was sold to the Blackmore Museum in England. The Blackmore Museum was absorbed by the British Museum. The stone may be in London, it may be in a library somewhere in West Virginia, it may have been destroyed. Andrea Keller, the programming coordinator at the Grave Creek Mound Archaeological Complex, has said plainly, "It's possible the Grave Creek stone is in England somewhere, but that's just one thread." Nobody knows. The Smithsonian has 4 casts of an original it cannot locate. In 2008, an anthropologist named David Oestreicher presented a paper to the West Virginia Archaeological Society claiming to have solved it. He identified the symbols as copied from a 1752 Spanish book on ancient coins, Ensayo cronológico sobre los reyes fenicios de España. He concluded Dr. Clemens had fabricated the stone to generate interest in his failing investment and placed it secretly in the upper vault. The establishment accepted this immediately. The case was officially closed. What the 2008 verdict requires you to accept: that Dr. Clemens secretly carved a convincing multi-script inscription without being detected, planted it in a sealed vault while workers were actively tunneling, and then successfully deceived Henry Rose Schoolcraft, the Royal Society of Northern Antiquaries in Copenhagen, and dozens of European scholars for decades across multiple continents from a small river town in what was then Western Virginia.
My day's going good. It's going very good. Yo, so let me show you guys something. There's something wrong here. Look at this.
Indigenous Black America was good. Yo, I've been trying to figure out, like, how am I going to make it happen? You know, how am I going to combine these elements together? And I said, you remember those hats we used to have? If you 30 or older, you used to remember them visors. If you worked at, like, Taco Bell or Burger King back in the olden days, you remember them visors because they used to be stylish and then they went out of style. And then the restaurants, they incorporated them where, your head is sticking out at the top, but it's just a visor. It looks like a hat that the top is cut off. So we're going to take that concept and we're going to slap that together with the indigenous headdress type of style. We're going to look at how they are made. I got some manufacturers, they could put it together. We're going to make a couple prototypes. We're going to make it happen. I think that's probably the best way because, like, the headband itself, instead of making it like a headband, you could turn that into a visor and you can make the same way you use the headband, you can use the visor to make the headdress off of, instead of making it just straight off a headband with no bill. So that's probably the way I'm going to make it. So it still gives that look of a headband. It doesn't look like it's a hat with feathers on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a snapback. You know what I mean? You don't want to see the snapback. You want to see the headdress as it was without the bill. So that's how we're going to do that. But I got some other inventions. It's hard.
Inventions? He thinks he's the first one to put a visor on a fucking war bonnet? Ah. He thinks he's the first one to put a visor on a war bonnet, yo. He's definitely not the fucking first one to put a fucking visor on a war bonnet. I've seen that shit before anyway. At a powwow. He's not the first one to do it. Inventions. But yeah, dude. You see what I mean? And then the eye is our symbol too. You can't take the eye. Native Americans even have the all-seeing eye with the hand. On plates in the mounds, they found an eye on a hand like this. There was an eye like that. Hey! But look at that. They're fucking trying to evolve and make money off of their grifting, yo.
When you're by yourself, man, and I don't have nobody in my corner with me, like.
Because you're a culture vulture. That's why. It's fucking weird.
I don't have nobody even want to invest in their own products and manufacturing with me under my.
Because it's fucking weird. Because it's against the law. It's against the law to sell Native American shit and not be Native American. Look. Watch. What is his fucking name? I am a Naiwa. How do you spell that? Fucking spell his name. Anianiwa. Right here. Look at this shit. This is shit right here. El Negro, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, this guy's trying to make money off of this shit.
Indigenous Black America was good. So we had people in the comments commenting on my headdresses talking about, oh, you can't sell Native American stuff and it's against this and that. We're not Native Americans. It's not Native American stuff. Okay? It's not Native American stuff. I did not design it and make it for Native American. You're not the only ones to wear feathers. You are definitely not the first people to make headdresses and wear feathers. Since you say we are Africans, and we say we're Aboriginals, both Aboriginals, Papua New Guineans, Fijians, all Melanesians and Polynesians, they all predate any pale-faced white man or anybody in North America claiming to be indigenous American or Native American. They predate all of that. But let me guess, this is what indigenous Americans look like? Not this?
Bro, that guy's wearing a wig. That guy's wearing a wig. That guy breaks the law too. He has his own store and he sells stuff, Native American stuff, and he calls it artifacts. His time's coming too. His time is coming too. He fucking sells Native American stuff and calls it artifacts, yo. He's a pretendian too. They think they're chiefs because they do the Mardi Gras African stuff. They think they're Indians because they pay homage to the Indians. So they got their little chief, their flag boy, and their wild boy, and then their big chief. They're paying homage to the Indians, and now it's getting to their head. Now their head is too big to walk through the door, and they think they're fucking Indian now.
Not this. They're all cosplaying. They're cosplaying too. right?
You're showing pictures of our people. Yeah, you're showing pictures of our people. We know all those people. Those are not your people.
Yeah, they're cosplaying wearing feathers. They should be sued. Oh, but this is okay for this white woman to be native. It's okay, right? Even though we know the truth. Oh, these are not white people. Oh, no, this is not a fake Cherokee woman. Nope. Oh, these guys should be in jail, and his wife.
You guys are so hurt.
There's no paintings of...
Dude, they're so hurt. This is what hurt people do. Hurt people. Hurt people. Hurt dogs bark. Hurt dogs bark. Do you hear what I'm saying? Hurt dogs bark. Either a Latina with a fat ass broke his heart. Either his girl left him for a native. Or he got beat up by a fucking native. Or he's just jealous. Come on, make it make sense.
Oh, those are not black. They're not black either. They're not dark skinned. No.
You're showing pictures of our people, dude.
Nope. Oh, what is this? Australia?
Our people. This is what I mean. It's like you're African.
Brazil? White woman?
She's probably more native than you.
You can see. Look like LeBron James to me. Oh, damn, that's LeBron. Oh, look like Tupac to me. Oh.
Man, America is cooked, yo. We got to deal with crazy people like that, yo. The Native American is dealing with culture vultures, yo. These people wish they were us, yo. They wish they had our hair. They wish they had our culture, our skin tone, our copper tone skin, right? It's kind of fucked up, yo. It's because America did that to them. America did that to them. That's why they're like that now. That's why they don't want to be African, you know. They wish they were native. It's very sad, yo. It's sad.
Oh, damn. That's Tupac? Oh, looks like T.I. to me. Oh, damn. Is that T.I.? Oh, whoa. Seriously? No, this can't be.
You're showing pictures of our people. Like, you wish you were us so bad. It is so obvious, yo. Like, if they took my picture way back then, I guarantee you, y'all would be putting your guys' face next to mine and be like, yo, look, we're the Indians.
This can't be. Fake ass, pale face motherfuckers talking about who can wear shit. And you ain't even showing your face, my guy. You look like a goddamn ninja. You want to sit here and talk to me? Who fucking Caucasian?
All they do is show pictures of, like, chiefs that aren't even chiefs no more. Like this guy. These are your guys' tribes. 5 civilized tribes. If you're so crying around about all the 5 civilized tribes having white chiefs, and those are the tribes you claim to be from, and you're so wild and indigenous, take control of your tribe. Get some revenge. Get it back in blood. Go scalp this fucking chief that you think fucking stole your identity then. Fuck, take control of your shit. If this, look, what does this say? Choctaw? What is he, Choctaw? Yeah, this is your tribe. Don't all y'all claim Choctaw? This is your tribe right here. Take control of your tribe. Take control of your tribe. Get it back in blood. Get some revenge. Quit crying on TikTok. If you got a problem with it, go do something about it. You act like you guys are like this tough, scary people, but you're not doing anything about it. You're just making videos. Just making fucking videos. Go do something about it. Get it back in blood, right?
Agents. You gonna try to tell me you gonna sue me? Come sue me.
Nobody trying to sue a pretendian. Nobody's trying to sue a pretendian. Y'all are trying to sue us.
Motherfuckers will come sue us. We're waiting. We beg you.
They're trying to flip the script, yo. No, we're waiting for you. Why would we sue a pretendian? No. Go sue the tribe that you think stole your identity. If you're going to keep showing pictures of your guys' tribe, these are your guys' tribe. What is this, Choctaw? Another Choctaw. Take control of your fucking tribe.
Sue us so we can get this class action lawsuit started. Look, we're begging.
Please take the tribe to court. Why would a real Indian go out of their way and waste their time with a pretendian trying to sue? There's nothing to sue you about. You're jealous of us.
Ready. This Japanese person with the Native Americans dead.
Japanese. See how racist they are? They're so mad, yo.
We don't gotta copy off, y'all. We can do our own thing. We got our own swag.
You do not have your own swag. This is not your own swag. This is not yours.
Y'all ain't using peacock feathers. Don't even try act like y'all was using.
What? Natives definitely used peacock feathers. I got a picture of my ancestor with a peacock feather. Look at that. Look at that. What is that in his hair right there? What is that in his fucking hair right there? Huh? What is that in his fucking hair? Oh, a peacock feather. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, y'all.
Peacock feathers. See, we could be different. You know, years have passed. If we would have kept our tradition, our swag would have improved. You see, these are ostrich feathers. Maya, ostrich feathers. You don't know nothing about that.
Oh my god, dude. You guys are such copycats. Such copycats. Yo, oh my god, yo. Copycats. No style, no originality at all. No originality at all. No originality at all. Motherfuckers can't even speak their own language. No originality. These are just real dark white people. That's what they are. They're the same as the white people, yo. Speak the same language, wear the same brands. They don't like us just like the white people. They're the same.
See these feathers? You don't know nothing about that. It's a whole
White people and black people are the same. They're both white. They both act white. They're both non-natives, non-indigenous, foreigners, immigrants. They're in the same boat. They're in the same boat. They're not in our canoe. They're not in our canoe. They're in their boat.
Yeah, peacock feathers. You ain't got that. Ostrich feathers. You ain't got that. Come on, man.
This guy's so wrong. You got plenty of pictures of natives wearing ostrich feathers and peacock feathers. That picture of that Seminole warrior that they always show with the wicks, those aren't wicks. Those are black ostrich feathers that he's got in his hair. But they try to say he's wearing wicks. But you hear what he said? The fucking audacity. Listen to this.
Indigenous Black America was good.
Yeah, dude, this guy's literally trying to steal our fucking style, yo, and make money off of it. Indian Arts and Crafts Act, bro. We should report his ass, yo. There was a number. Let's see. I think I had people call and report. Yep, right here. Call and report with the number right here. They say they're not copying, but they are. Yeah, dude. You're copying indigenous Americans because they don't have a style, yo. You guys do not have your own style. If you were indigenous, you wouldn't be trying to copy a plains headdress. A fucking plain style headdress. Now they're trying to call it their own by throwing fucking ostrich feathers on it. Oh, copycats, yo. Copycats, yo. And I already told... Listen, this whole thing about pretending to be Indian, it's getting to their heads, yo. I'm telling you, these people, it's a matter of time. You're in a couple of generations, you are going to see young YNs talking like they're from the res with a res accent. Think I'm kidding. Not even kidding you. they're gonna fucking, and it's gonna go from rap music. They're gonna start trying to put in Indian songs in their rap music. Yep. So not only they're gonna start wearing feathers in their hair, they're gonna start wearing feathers in their hair. They're gonna start trying to talk like natives, like they're from the res, the YNs. They're gonna start putting Indian songs in their fucking rap music. Yeah, yo, they're gonna start wearing beadwork and chokers. Yeah, yo. They wanna be us. Yo, I'm telling you, they wish they had our they're gonna start straightening their hair. They're gonna start getting perms and straightening their hair and braiding it and with the two braids like that. They're already wearing their dreads like that too. Yeah, yo. I'm telling you, we're entering a new era. Nobody's trying to be black no more, yo. Nobody's trying to be black. Nobody acts black. I go out of my way to not be anything like black people. I go out of my way to not be anything like them. Like if I was wearing a pair of shoes and I went downtown and a bunch of YNs saw me wearing those shoes and then I went downtown the next day and they all got the same pair of shoes, I would get rid of my shoes and get a new pair just to not be anything like them. It doesn't matter what we do, what we call ourselves. They will copy us. We're calling ourselves Indians. They start calling themselves Indians. Fine, we're Aboriginals. They start calling themselves Aboriginals. Fine, we're Native Americans. Now they're calling themselves Native Americans. Fine, we're indigenous. Now they're calling themselves indigenous. Fine, we're red. Now they're saying they're red and copper colored. Get the fuck out of here, yo. Come on. I'm telling you. You're going to see them start straightening their hair. The boys are going to start growing their hair long and straightening it and then braiding it and wearing it like a native. They're going to start talking with a res accent. They're going to start putting Indian music in their songs. They're going to start wearing beadwork and chokers and feathers in their hair. Yo. That's literally what's going to happen within the next 20 years if we don't put our foot down and tell them, hey, this ain't your fucking culture. You're not Indian. But think about it, is people are gonna, shouldn't you want your culture to be the main culture? Right? Would you have a problem if they started learning the language? Would you, this is a real question. Would you have a problem if they started learning the language? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a problem with them learning the language. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't have a problem with them learning their language. 1, if you have a problem with them learning the language. 2, if you don't. 1, if they do, if you do. 2, if you don't. Go. Okay. Okay. We got some people that got some issues with it. Yeah, we know they can't learn the language. I mean, they can't even learn their own language. Yoruba, Igbo, some Congolese tongue, dialect. But you know what? They are learning our language. They're speaking gibberish. They think they're speaking our language, but they're speaking gibberish, yo. I'm gonna show you. Watch this.
Indigenous black.
This shit's mad funny, yo. Look, he want his shit to sit back like a war bonnet so bad. Hold on. He want his shit to sit back like a war bonnet so bad. He don't want it to sit straight up. He want it to sit back like a war bonnet. Oh, fuck. There you go. Look, and then there's Somalian, too. You're Somalian. But this is the funny shit right here.
In your church,
Oh.
Indian. See, from the front to the back, realize I'm Cherokee Indian. I gotta know like a Cherokee Indian because my daddy was a Cherokee Indian because my grandma had hair all the way down her back.
That's your argument is hair, long hair? Jeez. Yamasee powwow. This is the Yamasee powwow, guys.
Left knee down. Chief Rock Eagle of the Yamasee Nation.
Harness your energy.
Shila Yamasee Ahoshibam. Haroshu Hoyas. Nogi Makua Joni Social Yamasee Patakma.
Last
Chief Rock
position
Eagle of the
here.
Yamasee Nation from the ancient Kataroma Matama.
When you do this ancient prayer, you draw from the earth, the sun, the water, the breath of life.
Look at the little pop, the TP in the back. By the porter potty. Oh, what the fuck is she wearing? Yo, these are NPCs. These are bots. Yo, these are bots. People, this is why they adopted the gingers. Because they also do not have a soul.
Do not be afraid of who you are. We are the people.
Do not be afraid of who you are. We are the what? But look at how he's dressed, yo, like a cult member, yo. Like a cult leader.
It's time to
There's nobody that existed prior to us. There's no spectrum of life that comes before us. Who was birthed by the triple double
generation.
Nobody has came before us. No spectrum of light have came before us. We're born out of triple darkness. Bro, but your mom is white. Oh, fucking A, yo. That's crazy, yo. That's crazy. You guys want to see what he looks like? This is the guy. He got a white mom. So he was on my live and he's like, let me see your tribal ID. So I showed it to him and he screenshotted it. Because we all heard the click on his phone, yo. Oh, fucking A, yo. Yo, this is so funny. Look at this shit.
Left knee down. Chief Rock Eagle of the Yamasee Nation.
Harness your energy.
Says who? Me? No. Fucking... We know this guy. This guy is a real person. You can look him up and find out. You can look people up and find out who they are, yo. That's the thing. You can find out who anybody is nowadays.
Shila Yamasee Ahoshibam. Haroshu Hoyas. Nogi Makua Joni Social Yamasee Patakma.
Last
Chief Rock
position
Eagle of the
here.
Yamasee Nation from the ancient Kataroma Matama.
When you do this ancient prayer, you draw from the earth, the sun, the water, the breath of life. Do not be afraid of who you are. We are the people.
It's time to
There's nobody that existed
Do you hear the cameras? Man, say the fuck.
prior to us. There's no spectrum of life that comes before us. Who was birthed by the triple double
generation on the map.
Left knee down.
Chief Rock Eagle
Listen to the gibberish.
of the Yamasee Nation.
Harness your energy.
Shila Yamasee Ahoshibam. Haroshu Hoyas.
funny, yo. Ayah, yo. That's ayah, yo. That's a big ayah right there, yo. That is funny. Sheesh.
Yep.
Fuck. Fuck. Yo, that is funny. Fudge. Oh, fudge. He's at puta. Go do me, but boop doopy ba. That's not a real religion, bro. That was a cult. That guy is a Freemason trying to start his own cult. Guys having an identity crisis. Dudes half black, half white. So that's what's going on. Black Americans are ashamed to have white ancestry, so they're going through a major identity crisis, claiming to be Indian. They're actually mulatto. Black Americans aren't real black people. Real black people are blue, and they're in Africa, and they're hairless. These people are mixed, watered down Africans, whitewashed. So that's why they want to be Indian, is because Indian is not black or white. Indian is the original of this land. Indian is the original of the planet. Indian can live in all climates. Indian is the most adaptable human, can live in the city, jungle, all that.
Original stone, which would have settled the question definitively, is not available for examination. Every scholar who has attempted to analyse the inscription since the 1870s has been working from drawings of castings of drawings of the original. Flawed copies.
He's from the
of
Wabo
copies.
tribe, probably.
The researcher, J. Houston McCulloch of Ohio State University, who personally examined the Smithsonian casts and the wax impression, noted that the casts themselves are not accurate reproductions. Critical details differ between them. He concluded that only Seth Eastman's drawing, made from the original in 1850 for Schoolcraft's own publication, can be considered reliable. The stone that could verify or disprove everything is gone. The institution that supervised its disappearance declared the matter resolved based on copies it cannot confirm are accurate. And the man who believed it was real lost his career for saying so. Now let's talk about what was in the ground surrounding the mound. In the summer of 1883, a man named James Faulkner excavated a burial site in Marion County, West Virginia. He uncovered a human skeleton. He called in Dr. Samuel Kramer, a physician from Smithtown, to examine and measure it. Dr. Kramer measured the skeleton at 7 feet 4 inches in length and wrote that based on the proportions, the living height of the individual would have been close to 8 feet. That same year, the Smithsonian Institution dispatched a professional team to the Kanawha Valley, the river valley directly adjacent to the territories by and surrounding Grave Creek Mound. Colonel P. W. Norris led the excavation. Cyrus Thomas, the same man who had replaced DeHass and declared the stone a fraud, compiled the report. That report was published in 1894 as the 12th annual report of the Bureau of Ethnology, a government document issued by the Smithsonian Institution itself. The report describes a skeleton from the Kanawha Valley measuring 7 feet 6 inches in length, 19 inches between the shoulder sockets, surrounded by a circle of 10 other skeletons arranged in what the excavators described as a ritual formation, each wrist carrying 6 heavy copper bracelets, 3 large plates of mica on the shoulder. This is the Smithsonian's own published government document. The institution that declared the Grave Creek stone a fraud published in its own official record a measurement of a 7.5-foot skeleton found in the same valley in the same cultural tradition by its own professional team.
And when they find these 7-foot, 8-foot skeletons, you know bones shrink and human remains shrink over time from rigor mortis. So everything shrinks over time. So if they shrink a couple inches, so 7 inches, yeah, add an inch or two to it.
skeleton went to the Smithsonian, where it
Hey!
remains today. In 1883 and 1884, Norris's team also excavated the Creel Mound in South Charleston, West Virginia, the second largest Adena mound in the state, about 60 miles from Grave Creek. A.R. Sines, who worked directly with Norris on the excavation, measured the central skeleton. His measurement, 6 feet 8 3/4 inches from head to heel. The official Smithsonian nomination form for the Creel Mound site contains a parenthetical note that appears to have been added decades after the original excavation. It reads, "But the extreme height indicated might have been an exaggeration created by earth pressing down on the burial." A.R. Sines was present. He had a tape measure. He wrote down what it said. Decades later, without remeasuring, without examining the skeleton again, someone at the Smithsonian added a speculative parenthetical dismissing the measurement. The skeleton and all artifacts from the Creel Mound were taken to the Smithsonian, where they remain today. In the summer of 1929, Professor Ernest Sutton, head of the geography department at Salem University, began excavating 2 mounds on the Benjamin Zan farm in Doddridge County, West Virginia. The following summer, newspaper accounts began appearing. The Clarksburg Daily Exponent for June 15, 1930, reported, "The particular tribe or race which inhabited this section of the state is believed to have been composed of individuals ranging from 7 to 9 feet in height." The same paper, in a separate account, reported that the best preserved skeleton found at the site was 7 feet 6 inches tall, encased in clay, with all vertebrae and bones, excepting the skull, preserved without crumbling. Sutton filed his official report 29 years later, in 1958. The report does not include the skeletal measurements. Researchers who later examined the report noted that it was Sutton's first mound excavation, and that as someone working outside the institutional establishment, he may not initially have understood the conventions or the pressures regarding the reporting of anomalous skeletal data. But the story doesn't end with the missing measurements. Researchers investigating the Doddridge County excavations located Sutton's surviving materials at the County Historical Society and found something unexpected. A handwritten notebook in Sutton's own hand containing detailed notes from a second excavation of the same mound conducted in 1960. The notebook references an individual who appears to have removed a large skeleton from the site during this second excavation. The researchers were given the name of that individual from a local source. The only other person who is known to have handled the notebook between Sutton's family and the researchers was the state archaeologist of West Virginia between 1960 and 1967.
You're being hypnotized without even knowing it, bro. If you were to take like infrared and look at everybody's phones, your phone is flashing lights at you. You can't even see with the naked eye. So yeah, you're being hypnotized through your phone, through all types of stuff, from imagery, symbolism, all of it. We've been hypnotized, bro. We've been indoctrinated. We've been colonized. They've been done this, yo. So yeah, you're being hypnotized here and there. You might get hypnotized by your phone for a couple hours and waste all day scrolling. So yeah, hypnotize you. Yeah. I don't know if I really believe it. Like those shows of people getting hypnotized and they start acting like chickens or falling asleep and stuff. I don't really know if I believe it, because I know that people have been paid to do fake that. You know, they exist. There's people out there that are like, oh yeah, they paid me to pretend I was hypnotized, and so that exists, you know. So yeah, I know. As long as shit.
Whether the notebook's pages were altered is not established. Whether pages were removed is not established. But the notebook exists. The second excavation is documented. The removal of a skeleton from that excavation is referenced, and the measurements from both excavations are absent from every official record. 1 year before Sutton's second excavation of the Doddridge County mounds, a professional archaeologist was working 30 miles away.
All right. I'm all right with this video. We got 20 people in here. We got 20 people on the YouTube. We got 20 people on the, or 20 on each except for Facebook. We need more people on Facebook, guys. Go ahead and share the live on Facebook. Hey! Don't do that. Hut the gate.
This is Kuku.
Woke Seneca.
This is the 11th hour Hopi prophecy, and I just want to see if you think that this is relevant to the times we're in now. And go ahead and comment yes if it is. You might want to bookmark this too, because there's a lot in here that's quite useful. You've been telling that people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in the right relation? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for the leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the world struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the people we are waiting for.
He took the master key and pressed it into melted key.
Every morning when you wake up, don't say more than 3 minutes.
Check out the code. Oh, it's a song? The fuck? Galileo? Check this out.
Good morning. My name is Michael Keene, producer and narrator of many local history programs, some of which you may have seen, such as Madhouse, Hard Island, and Abandoned. Today, I would like to introduce you to my latest work called The Code of Handsome Lake. Are amazingly similar to some of our present-day concerns of abortion, drug abuse, climate change, and materialism. So again, I take great pride in welcoming you to the Code of Handsome Lake. Thank you.
Hold on. Fuck did it say? Our religion is not one of paint and feathers. It is a thing of the heart. From the Seneca. Our religion is not one of paint and feathers. It is a thing of the heart. Hey. In 1979, General John Sullivan, on the orders of George Washington, waged a massive military campaign against pro-British Iroquois of the Western New York. My people. As a result, over 40 Seneca towns were destroyed, along with an estimated 160 bushels of corn and thousands of fruit trees. With their land loss reduced on living to reservations and their culture in ruins, many turned to whiskey to drown their grief.
The beginning was early in the moon, in the year 1800. The beginning was early in the moon, in the year 1800. The place is Corn Planter Village. Now a party of people move. They go down in canoes. They plan to hunt during the autumn and winter seasons. They go farther down the river. They land in a village of white people. Here they barter their skins, dried meat, and fresh game for strong drink. Now all the men are filled with strong drink. They yell and sing like demented people. Now they are homeward bound. They go up Corn Planter Creek where they had left their wives and their children. Now the party is home. The men revel in strong drink. Now their families become frightened and move away for safety. The drunken men now run yelling through the village. Now they are beast-like and run without clothing. All have weapons and injure those they meet. Now there are no doors left in the houses, for they have been kicked off. Now there are no fires in the village. Now the men with strong drink have trodden in the fireplaces. They leave their footprints. Now the dogs yelp and cry, for they are hungry. So this is what happens.
A man becomes sick. Some strong power holds him. As he lies in sickness, he meditates and longs that he may rise again and walk the earth. He thinks how evil and loathsome he is, he begins singing, and while singing, has strong drink. Now he comes to his mind that perchance evil has risen again, and he resolves to use it nevermore. Yet he continues to think of this every day and every hour. Then a time comes, and he craves drink again, for he believes he cannot recover his strength without it. Now the two ways he thinks, what he once did, and whether he will ever recover. Now he lives through the night and sees another day. So he prays that he may see the night again. And it is so. Because of this, he thanks the great ruler. Now this man has been sick for 4 years, and the name of the sick man is Ganio Deo, Handsome Lake. Now the daughter of the sick man is sitting outside the house. The sick man is within, alone. The door is ajar. Suddenly, she hears the sick man exclaim, "Neo." Then she hears him rising and thinks how he's but yellow skin and dried bones from his 4 years of sickness. The daughter then sees her father coming out of doors. He totters. She rises quickly to catch him, but he falls dying. Now, she carries him back within the house and dresses him for burial. Now, he is dead. Now, many people are weeping. For many hours, no one speaks. Now, it is early morning, and the dew is drying. This is the time of trouble, for he lies dead.
Mystery box?
Now they come and feel over the body. They notice a warm spot. It is spreading. Now the time is noon, and they feel the warm blood pulsing in his veins. Now his breath comes, and now he opens his eyes. Now the people notice the man is moving his lips. So these are the first words that Ganio Deo spoke.
Never have I seen such wondrous vision. I saw 3 men clothed in fine, clean raiment. They were the most noble and commanding of men. Their cheeks were painted red. Only a few feathers were in their bonnets. They had in one hand bows and arrows as canes. In the other hands were huckleberry bushes and berries of every color. And then the being spoke.
He who created the world employed us to come to earth and go to the sick man and help him recover. We say to you, take these berries and eat of every color. They will give you strength. Before noon, the people will gather at the council house and give you the early strawberries. They will make strawberry wine, sweetened with sugar. Then they will drink the juice of the berry and thank the Creator for your recovery. When you are well, we will tell you how things ought to be upon the earth. For whatsoever you think is evil is evil.
And now behold, look to the valley, and between the 2 hills. Look between the sunrise and the moon. In that place, a man is buried who refused to obey the great messenger. he will never rise from that spot. So now we say to you, proclaim the message we give you, and tell it truly before all people.
Now, the first thing has been finished, and it remains for us to uncover all wickedness before you.
So they said, and he said, it was that way.
Now it is time for our departure. We shall go on a journey. Then you will see the coming of the fourth messenger. More, you will see the house of the Punisher and the lands of our Creator.
Suddenly, a road slowly descended from the south sky, and thereon they saw 4 tracks of the human race going in one direction. Then they saw more brilliant light than the light of the earth appear. So they proceeded a short distance and saw a house with 3 different things. The first was a pair of handcuffs, the second, a whip, and the third, a hang rope.
Truly, it is a strongly built house. It is a prison. The 3 things you see are for punishment.
So they proceeded on their journey and saw a man continually distorting himself. At times horns shot from his forehead, at times a cloven foot appeared, and then a tail was visible.
Behold the Punisher. It is he who torments those who refuse the words of Gewo when they had them on this earth. See the Punisher cry, "Come hither," and put a vessel filled with molten metal in the hands of a man, and say to him, "Drink the hot drink you love." And now the man pleads, but the Punisher compels him to swallow the molten metal. Then the man screams and falls to the ground with vapor steaming from his throat. This is the punishment for those who persist in taking fiery drink.
Then, after a while, they saw a woman sitting, and she was large in size and snatching at everything about her. She appeared not able to rise.
It is true what you see is the evil of gluttony. She cannot stand and will remain forever, having satisfied herself with the things of the earth. They are unable to stand upon the heaven road.
Now as they looked, the Punisher forced a woman into a great cauldron filled with boiling liquid. The woman cried out that it was too hot, and soon her bones rattled to the bottom.
This is the punishment given to those who practice witchcraft. Such things happen to those who will not believe in Gewu.
Now they saw a man with his eyes bulged from his head, with flames of fire from his tongue.
This is punishment for those who quarrel and fail to repent.
Now they saw a woman whose body was naked and writhing serpents.
See that woman. She gives secret powders to men to attract them. This is punishment for those who don't repent.
Now they saw 2 men playing cards, and suddenly flames spurted out, burning and eating their flesh until the meat fell off.
This is punishment for those who handle cards and who don't repent.
Now they began to inhale heated air and hear faraway echoes of mournful, terrible cries from the doomed, born on the blast of the hot wind.
Now another word. It is a sad one. The great ruler has ordained that women should bear children. Now, a young married woman is with child, and she suffers much. Now, she takes strong medicine to cut off the child and to prevent forever other children from coming. The Creator is sad. He created life to live and wishes those who employ such medicines to cease these practices forevermore. Now, they must stop when they hear this message. Go and tell your people.
So they said, and he said, it was that way.
Now, they continued on their journey, and before long came upon a sturdy house with many animals and rows of corn, beans, and squash. The messenger then said,
Now, for our final message before our journey ends. This concerns the white man and the things your brethren should follow. The first is that the white man works a tract of cultivated ground and harvests food for his family. So if he should die, they will have the ground for help. The second is that the white man builds a house. He builds one warm and fine appearing. So if he dies, the family has the house for help. The third is that the white man keeps horses and cattle. So if he dies, his family has the stock for help. The last concerns education in the white man's schools. Now let the council appoint 12 people to study, 2 from each nation of the 6. So many white people are about you that you must study to know their ways.
So they said, and he said, it was that way.
After a short time, they came to a halt and beheld a beautiful spring, a clear fount of water, a place for refreshment, where they partook of the spring and rested. After a while, they went upon a narrow road and saw a brilliant light. Then they smelled fragrant odors of flowers. The most marvelous and beautiful things were on every hand, and all these things were on the heaven road. Then the messenger finally said,
Now we have arrived at the point where you must return. You are now going to your new home. Here there is a house prepared for your eternal abode. But should you enter a room, you can never go back to the earth world. But fear not, the children will comfort you.
Now it happened that it came to pass that all the children assembled. So great was his grief of leaving them, he could hardly speak. He now rose and exhorted them to be ever faithful. And then the great multitude heard him say,
Thus it had happened in the past, and it is the truth. I must now take up my final journey. I had a dream, a beautiful vision. I saw a pathway, a trail, overgrown and covered with grass, so that it appeared not to have been traveled in a long time. To those gathered about me, hear my message. Soon, I will step into my new home. Whosoever follows my teachings, I will look back with outreached arms and invite them into the new world. the Creator.
Handsome Lake died on August 10th, 1815. His final moments were spent in a small cabin near Onondaga Creek. Three persons attended him. They vowed to keep all details secret. Nearly 200 years later, many Senan could now practice the religions of the modern world. But if they return to their reservations, they will observe the ways of Gaiweo, the teachings of the Great Spirit. It was a pretty good one. Go ahead and share this, and thanks for watching. Cool. We made a video too for that, so you guys can watch that again on the live on YouTube. I'll have that part clipped. But yeah, yo, what's good though? How's everybody doing? We got 16 on the YouTube, or 15 and 16 on TikTok. We got 4 on Facebook. It's because it's laggy. It's because it's laggy, yo. It's a good video. It is a good video. What the fuck is this? Canawagus? See how they write it in old school though? What we were talking about the other day? That's in Onondaga, yo. But see how on top it's written old school? It says Ganyo Dayo. Right? Like on the tombstone right at the top, it says Ganyo. It's got the dashes in between. The curse of the prophet. What? Yo, so in the Northeast,
to the new generation of web creation,
you know what I noticed?
Where words can launch a.
In the Northeast, you got a lot of prophets, yo. From the Midwest to the Northeast, yo, you got a lot of Indian prophets. I've only seen Native American prophecies come true. I have not seen any prophecies from that side of the world come true. I've only seen our prophecies come true, specifically Hopi prophecies. Like, they prophesized a lot of shit that came true already. Hey, that's what's up, y'all. Yeah, this is like what I like to do, yo. I like to have it like this every day. We just watch shit and chill. Learn. Always learning. The fuck is this shit, yo?
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by to check out a little video I wanted to squeeze in here right before the quick Christmas break. I think probably most of the U.S. is frozen right now. I know I am. Temps have been out in the single digits.
The fuck was that, yo? was born as Hadomongo. Shaking snow. Shaking snow. There you go. Canawagas. Is this the only one that they got? Fuck. Seneca Nations buys Kanawaga's land 3 years ago. See, for 220,000. See, even if they're not gonna give it back, natives are just buying land back, yo. So we got Cattaraugus Indian Territory, and of course they would buy Canawagas. It's ours. They should be buying all the land out there, yo. I don't know why they don't. Why don't Indian tribes that got casinos start buying all the land back and start declaring it as Indian territory and say, we're not going to pay taxes on it. This is ours now. We're not ever going to sell it. It's back to the original owner. That's what we need to do. That's what all Indian nations need to do. We need to start operating like a fucking third world country. We need our own hospitals. We got the clinic, but we need a hospital in case something happened and they didn't let us go to their hospitals. We need a hospital where they can give out Schedule 1 stuff, treatment for cancer, radiation, stuff like that, fucking surgeries, open brain surgery, fucking all types of stuff, the extreme stuff, methadone clinics, ketamine clinics, the whole nine. We need all that at one hospital. We also need our own court. We do have a court, but we need a jail too, so we can start giving people tickets, and our own police. We do have a marshals, but we need a fucking police that carry guns and a SWAT team and all that, so we don't have to call New York State or ever rely on New York State or Erie County ever again. We need our school, kindergarten through 12th, and then our own college. We need our own money. We need our own money. We need to start our own money and start trading in our own currency. We need our own currency, yo, and we need to start trading in it so it becomes valuable until it outweighs the dollar. And then this is what all tribes need to start doing. Tribes need to start uniting. United States started their own little 13 colonies. We can start our own confederacies up again and start operating as a fucking third world country. United States is going to split up. There's going to be different laws. They're going to bring back segregation. There's going to be certain laws and civil war that's going to fucking happen. And the United States is not going to be united no more. It's going to be divided. It's going to be divided. You're going to have North, South. You're going to have the Indian territories. They're going to start expanding and buying more land. The Indian tribes need to start buying the border towns. Buy up all the land in the border towns. That's what our people need to do. Buy up all the land in the border towns. We need our own train tracks. Each res should have train tracks that run through it. You need your own train track, all that. You need not to be gridlocked. You need to own a part of the beach to the ocean. You need to own a lot so we can start your own dock and start trading like that. Yeah, yo, you need to not to be gridlocked. Yo, this is what I'm saying. We need to start operating like a third world country. If we need our own money, we need our own police system with courts and jail. You need your school from kindergarten through 12th and a college, right? And you need your own hospital so you don't have to rely on leaving the territory. And a hospital that has cancer treatment, radiation treatment, the extreme stuff, methadone clinics, fucking therapy, all the whole nine, everything, like extreme brain surgery, fucking open heart surgery. Once you get a certain amount of people in your tribe, you're gonna have people that do those jobs, and hire people from outside the tribe too, if you have to. But we need our own shit and stop relying on them. Totally, no more police. Get your own police department that carry guns so you can have your own SWAT team. So you can go kick down the drug dealers and kick down the door and get them out of there. And then throw them in your own jail. In your own jail. Come on. Some reservations have their schools, but some of them make them go to high school. We need our own college too. Own military. Be like our own fucking National Guard warrior society of six nations. Bring back the war chiefs. Make sure there's a clan mother and chief, war chief, principal chief. Make sure there's a shit ton of faith keepers too. And yeah, yo, we need a whole regime change. A whole regime change, yo. People would call me a radical. No, I just care. That's all.
Meet Squibbler, the AI book writer that transforms your ideas into fully developed chapters. With pre-made templates for all genres, AI-powered scene creation, and enhanced visual generation, your book comes to life effortlessly.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Holland Office Museum's Artifact video series. My name is Ryan Duffy, and this week we're going to talk about one of the other prominent Seneca chiefs who was at the signing of the Treaty of Big Tree, but also had a much larger impact and actually has an impact that's still felt today within the Seneca culture. So this week we're going to talk about the famous Seneca chief and prophet Handsome Lake, who was the half-brother of Corn Planter, who we've discussed in a previous video, and was actually related to Red Jacket as well, another famous chief of the era. So we're going to go through the life and impact of Handsome Lake and his relation here to Western New York. Now, Handsome Lake, or Nayatario as he was known in the Seneca language, was born as Hadawako, or Shaking Snow, around 1735 in the Seneca village of Kanawongus on the Genesee River near present-day Avon. We don't know much about his parentage, but his mother actually later had an affair with a Dutch fur trader, and she gave birth to his half-brother Corn Planter, another famous chief of the time. He was born into the Turtle clan, but would actually be adopted and raised by the people of the Wolf clan. And other famous relatives of his family include Governor Blacksnake, Red Jacket, and Halftown.
No, but not that he was adopted. He was what they mean by that when they say adopted, it mean they borrowed him for his name. It didn't mean that like, oh, they adopted him in his family. It was they borrowed him. you can borrow people for certain spots because he had a Wolf Clan title, but he was Turtle Clan or whatever, or
Now,
vice versa.
Later in his life, Handsome Lake became a very prominent Seneca chief and was actually present at the Pickering Treaty, which was signed in 1794 between the United States and the Six Nations of the Iroquois at Fort Stanwix.
Look, there's Buffalo Creek.
And
right there, that's Buffalo Creek. That's a good picture right there. Let's get that. There's 2 territories there. Hey. Look at all these territories, y'all. These some original territories. Save. Yeah, that's Buffalo Creek right there, 100%. Right here with the buildings or the mounds. You see it right here? That's the city of Buffalo right here. That's the city of Buffalo down there. The box, the big box. The big one down there. And then for y'all on YouTube, it's the big one over there. This one right here. Oh, you guys can't see it.
He was also a prominent signer of the Treaty of Big Tree, which occurred in 1797, which officially gave the Howell Land Company ownership over what we call Western New York today. He also visited Washington, D.C. with his half-brother Cornplanter in 1802 as part of a coalition of Native American chiefs. In 1799, after a period of illness due to many years of excessive...
I don't think it was Washington, D.C. in 1802. I think it would have been the capital in New York City. Hold on. Where was the capital in 1802?
That year.
Okay, I was going to say it was in 1800 is when it became the capital. Before that, it was New York City.
Alcoholism. Handsome Lake had visions that came to him, which made him into a prophet. In his vision, he was warned by 3 spiritual messengers who presented him with ideals that he must enforce among his people. They told him that he must enforce the preservation of their land and the danger of learning the English language. And after this first vision, he ceased drinking alcohol altogether, which had become a major problem among the Seneca. And while he regained his health, he began bringing a message of Gaiwayo, or the good word, to his people. And he preached against drunkenness and other evil practices, which resulted in sort of witch trials coming about for those who did practice these things. And his message was outlined in a moral code that was eventually referred to as the Code of Handsome Lake.
And allegedly that's what killed him, is because some of these witch trials, he got cursed. Out in Allegheny, these women were being whipped because they were punished for cursing. You know how in that video they showed the whip, the handcuffs, and the noose? So those women confessed to being witches. There's 2 of them. And while he sat there to be, one of the women said, "How can you sit there and watch us get whipped when you preach you're a man of God and creator?" So she was a witch. She confessed to being a witch and doing witchcraft. So she cursed him, and he got sick. When this was the guy Wheel Trail who went from Tonawanda to Cattaraugus to Allegheny. He got cursed in Allegheny during these witch trials too, preaching Guy Wheel. And when he went to Onondaga, he died. He got sick and died. And that's why he's buried out there.
Today is called the Longhouse religion. Handsome Lake abolished societal sins and attempted to cleanse the tribes of all immoral actions. He threatened the people,
living a lie. Bro, be quiet.
In order to show them the error of their ways. He insisted that they refrain from drinking, marital abuse, abortion, spouse and child abandonment, selling of land, overconsumption, factory farms, and witchcraft. It's a long list of things to stay away from. The rise of his way of life was more successful than most religions during the time because it combined traditional Iroquois way of life with Quaker values. His way of life stressed survival without the sacrifice of Iroquois identity and recognized the need to make adjustments in order to survive in the changing world.
Look, there's corn planter.
Now, it was
sitting right there. That's got to be corn planter sitting right there with that Gustoa on.
Even impact of Handsome Lake was even felt outside of the
Look, you got a Cayuga, you got a Onondagas, you got a Mohawk, you got a Oneida. You got someone with like a blanket over their head or something.
In Seneca societies. In 1803, then President Thomas Jefferson gave his endorsement of this code. And though Handsome Lake would pass away on August 10th, 18...
See? Ganyadayo. It's spelled, that's old school. Old school style. Old style and old school. A lot of Indian languages and Native American languages is written like this. This is old school and old style. When it's got the lines, the dashes in between like that. That's how I prefer it. To be honest, as a Native American, that's how I prefer the language to be written out like that. Instead of today, because today it's a little bit too hard with all the rules and all that. If they just kept it like that, I think a lot of people would still speak their language.
1815, his words would continue to be passed down. In 1850, through the efforts of some of his relatives, his code was first published, and it is still practiced today among the Seneca. And beginning in the 1820s, so shortly after his death, it became traditional for the code to be recited every September at the Tonawanda Reservation. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of our Artifact video series and learned a little bit more about Handsome Lake and his importance here to Western New York.
That was a good video. That was a good one. Put together well. Let's see. Oh, this is that guy, that Mohawk guy, yo. He makes techno music. Or something. Music. Here we go. Look, there's corn planter. Yo, that's my grandpa right there, yo. In this painting with George Washington. Right there. Boom. Sitting down. Sitting down right here with the chest plate.
He was the wizard.
Alright, whatever. Is it just gonna be music or what? Amokali. We're gonna reset on TikTok. And probably take a break too. Alright?